sometime in 2015, I figured out that I could charge a card from my computer. That it was cool. I was like, yo, guy, this is a company. This is Stripe. Only way we could describe this that was like Stripe for Africa.
In 2006, most Africans still didn't have a bank account or a reliable way to send money. Unfortunately, the traditional banking system failed millions of people. And when the banks couldn't serve Africa anymore, African entrepreneurs decided to build something different. In the span of 2 decades, Africa has built one of the most advanced digital payment ecosystems in the world. And it all started with a simple idea. What if your phone could become your bank? For decades, access to banking across Africa was extremely limited. In many communities, the nearest bank branch could be hours away. Opening an account required paperwork, identification, and minimum balances that millions of people simply didn't have. As a result, a large part of the population remained completely outside the financial system. Farmers, traders, and small businesses relied almost entirely on cash. Sending money to family members in another city could take days, sometimes weeks. But while traditional banking struggled to reach millions of people, another technology was spreading rapidly across the continent. Mobile phones. By the mid-2000s, mobile networks were expanding faster than banks ever could, and that created an opportunity. In 2007, a telecommunications company in Kenya launched an experiment that would change the way money moved across Africa. M-Pesa, developed by Safaricom. The service allowed people to send and receive money using simple mobile phones. No bank account required, no internet needed, just a phone number. Suddenly, workers in cities could send money to their families in rural villages within seconds. Something that once required travel now took a text message. What began as a small telecom experiment quickly became a financial revolution. Mobile money agents began appearing across towns and villages. Small shops turned into financial service points. People could now deposit money, withdraw cash, transfer funds, pay bills, all through their phones. Within a few years, millions of people across East Africa were using mobile money every day. But while mobile money was transforming East Africa, another fintech revolution was beginning to emerge in West Africa, and at the center of it, Nigeria. Long before the fintech boom, companies were already working on the infrastructure that would support digital payments. One of those companies was InterSwitch, founded in 2002. The Switch began building the payment rails that allowed banks and businesses to process electronic transactions. This laid the groundwork for the next generation of fintech startups. By the mid-2010s, a new wave of technology companies began building tools designed specifically for African businesses. Among them were Flutterwave and Paystack. These companies created platforms that allowed businesses to accept digital payments from customers anywhere in the world. For online businesses across Africa, this solved a major problem: getting paid. Then in 2020, the global tech industry made a move that would change how the world viewed African startups.
Stripe is acquiring Nigerian payments company Paystack for what sources tell me is roughly $200 million.
Payment giant Stripe acquired Paystack for over $200 million. It was one of the largest startup acquisitions in African technology history, and it signaled something important. African Fintech had arrived on the global stage. But the real backbone of African Fintech isn't just startups or venture capital. It's the millions of small agents operating on street corners across the continent. These agents act as mini banks for their communities. Companies like MoneyPoint and PalmPay build vast networks of these financial agents. Customers can walk into a small neighborhood shop and withdraw money, transfer funds, or pay bills within minutes. In many Nigerian cities today, POS agents now outnumber bank branches. The rise of African Fintech wasn't just about technology. It was about solving a real problem. Africa had hundreds of millions of unbanked people, rapid mobile phone adoption, and a young generation of entrepreneurs. Instead of copying Western banking systems, African startups build financial services designed specifically for the realities of the continent. Today, African fintech companies are expanding beyond payment. They are building platforms for cross-border transfers, digital banking, and international financial services. Companies like Chipper are connecting users across multiple countries through digital wallets. For decades, Africa was described as a continent without financial infrastructure. But in just 2 decades, a new generation of entrepreneurs built something entirely different. Not simply a digital version of traditional banking, but a financial system designed for Africa. Africa didn't just adopt financial technology, it reinvented how money works, and the rest of the world is starting to pay attention.